Hello and good morning. Today is Wednesday, and what does that mean if you follow any of my posts? It's Wheatless Wednesday. Okay, so a lot of people follow or not quite sure what Wheatless Wednesday means or why I do Wheatless Wednesday. For multiple reasons, but one is the overconsumption of wheat. In the American diet and any packaged products, anything that comes in a bag or a box, wheat is typically one of the top 3 ingredients. And by learning and just being aware of how much wheat you eat makes a huge difference in your health. Not only wheat on one side is we get too much wheat, but on the other side is in the typical American diet when we eat certain foods over and over and over again and our guts are inflamed. So when you have all this inflammation on top of eating foods over and over and over again, you start to get a reaction to it. You actually start to get an allergy to it. What happens is how I explain it to my clients is put your hands like this. So your cells or inside your gut should look like this. But when it's inflamed, when you think of like inflammation in your joints or if you have something that swells up, what happens is the blood vessels start to open up. So you have you have holes in between. So what happens, that also happens in your gut. So when you're eating foods that cause inflammation, that opens up. So when you have big holes that cause inflammation or will cause it to swell up, sometimes you'll get that bloated belly, which happens to a lot of people. Also, you get this uncomfortable feeling. It just doesn't feel quite right. But one of those things that happens when that is inflamed, you have these large pockets, you have these large holes that foods that are not supposed to get through, like proteins or wheat, because I'm talking about wheat. Those foods, instead of just the little particles, the little carbohydrates, it actually takes the whole wheat molecule through. And when that happens, the body starts to react because wheat is not supposed to ever be in your bloodstream. It's supposed to be glucose or the carbohydrates by itself. But when you have the whole molecule make it through, the body goes, foreign body, I don't really know what to do with this. So it starts to attack it, or it starts to create antibodies against it. And when you have that over and over again, you start to get an allergic reaction. You're like, well, that's weird. Like every time I eat wheat now, I get super bloated or I don't feel good, or sometimes you actually have outward reactions like inflammation, or sometimes it even comes to, don't quote me on this, I'm not a doctor, but I contribute to a lot of Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, things that have the inflammation of the gut. So when you have more inflammation, it causes more problems. So one of the best things you can do is to, at least for one day a week, Wheatless Wednesday, to concentrate on not doing wheat products. And you'd be surprised what wheat hides in. One of my biggest recently was this, Quaker oatmeal squares. Quaker oats company, that's not a wheat company. They usually make oatmeal. I do their oatmeal. I actually like these. And then I started to read the ingredients because it was Wheatless Wednesday and I wanted to make sure I was not eating wheat. Out of the ingredients, okay, you have whole oat fiber. That makes sense. It's an oat company. The second ingredient is whole wheat flour. Wheat is the second ingredient in this oatmeal squares. When you think of oatmeal, you don't think of wheat at all. So it's just to let you know that it hides in almost everything. So one of the things you can do is find I talk about how to read labels, or I read labels on a couple of my videos. Go check in some of those. But reading labels is your best friend. Or if you're not quite sure on how to read a label, everything on Wednesday, eat something without a label. All fruits and vegetables don't have labels. Again, this is Nikki Golly with Fuel Your Body, and check me out. I have links down below, but my website is www.fuelyourbody.com. F-U-E-L, fuel. Like, put gas in this body or real food. And on Wednesday, like today, that real food does not consist of wheat. So happy Wheatless Wednesday. Cheers.